I think I'm supposed to be rooting for the kid in this movie to overcome the demonic people that are inside this funeral home, but gosh, all I see is just a funeral home owner just trying to do his job, and this kid keeps annoying him and breaking into his building. I'm kind of behind the Undertaker here. Phantasm, released in 1979 and is directed by Don Coscarelli, who has directed all four of the Phantasm films, The Beastmaster, and Bubba Hotep. And this film is starring Michael Baldwin, Bill Thornbury, Reggie Bannister, Kathy Lester, and Angus Scrimm. And the reason why we're talking about Phantasm today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from a big-time contributor and supporter of this channel, David Klimoff. Thank you very much for this recommendation. And it's a movie that I've definitely heard of before. I've just never seen the entire thing all the way through. I have seen the iconic little ball knife thing that flies through this weird labyrinth funeral home and gets into the guy's head and just drills out all the blood. I have seen that part. That's like the most iconic scene from this movie, I think. But everything else, this is my first time watching this, and I'm still standing behind my statement. I kind of feel for this Undertaker dude, whoever he actually is. I don't think they ever, like, fully tell us. But all I see is that this guy is just trying to run his business. And this shitty-ass little stalker kid won't stop breaking into his house. Like, just leave him alone. First off, go get a haircut, by the way, because damn. And after you're done getting a haircut, then stop breaking into his house. Stop breaking into his business. Because it's clear that each time that you do that, he's just going to break into your house and freak you out and creep you out. And it's just going to be an endless cycle, back and forth. Just leave each other alone, please. So thank you very much, David, for the recommendation. If anyone else out there also wants to be like David and help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that is in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation of $5 or more with your movie recommendation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out just like what I did with David Klimoff here. A young man by the name of Tommy has been stabbed to death in a local cemetery, and at the funeral, Tommy's friends Jody and Reggie are led to believe that he actually committed suicide. And as the funeral ends, Jody's little brother Mike has followed him and sees the Undertaker, who is known in this movie as the Tall Man, lift the entire casket up all by himself and lift it into the hearse. Well, this starts a chain reaction of Mike being creeped out and suspicious about this tall man and this funeral home business, and keeps breaking in, searching around for anything that is off-putting or is not of this world. And I guess a small little spoiler for all of you watching this, if you haven't watched this movie yet, he finds a couple of things that are not of this world. What exactly are they of? I don't know. I have my theories. Maybe it's like purgatory, or maybe it's a representation of hell or Dante's Inferno. I don't know. There are some portals in here that take you to a weird red-looking planet. But then we also have little critter things that come rushing after you. And then there's these big metal balls that have little knives on them that come flying around all throughout the labyrinth of the funeral home, and then they stab you, and then they like drain all of your blood out because you're intruding, and the tall man doesn't like that. This is a movie that it took a while for me to be interested in, because it really didn't take the time to establish anyone in the first 10 or 15 minutes. We have little aside things said about certain characters. Jody talked about how his little brother just stalks him all the time. Like, he's coming back into town for this funeral, and because he's back in the town, Mike is just following him to make sure that he goes to good places and that he never leaves, I guess. But I'm also questioning, because Mike is living in this house all by himself. Apparently his mom and dad are not there. They're dead, or they're gone missing, or they're on vacation. I don't know. They were not there, and I don't remember them mentioning anything. I'm pretty sure they were dead. Wasn't there a line in there or something like the parents are dead? So this kid is just living in this house all by himself. Like, you said, are you paying taxes on that house, little Mike? Little Mikey, are you doing that? No, there's no adults to be found here. Are there any cops to be found here, actually, with all the murders and all the break-ins happening? Don't you think you would see some cops in here? This tall man, this undertaker guy who runs this funeral home, he ain't the brightest. Yes, he's very creepy and probably not of this world. I don't know, I haven't seen any of the other Phantasm films, so I don't know if they explain furthermore of who this guy is or where he comes from. But you think he would know that if he's owning a business in, at least America, where he's at, you'd think that if there's this little shit constantly breaking into his house, that he could easily get him arrested, or at least prevent him from coming onto his property by calling the goddamn police. But that's just, you know, horror movie logic for you right there. Yeah, I don't know, like, what to say about the story or the moral here. This is just scenes that lead one after another to some type of altercation between Mike and Jody and friends to this tall man dude. And she keeps going back and forth. It felt like a Looney Tunes Roadrunner cartoon where the coyote is trying to do something to the Roadrunner, and then the Roadrunner does something back to the coyote to spoil their plans, and then the entire episode is just them going back and forth, back and forth. That was this movie. It's little Mikey, who has one of the worst haircuts I have ever seen. How that was ever a popular style in the 1970s, I'll never know, and please don't ever bring it back. I know these things come back around, all these trends, these hair trends and fashion trends. Could we not do it? Like, the mullet is popular now again. Could we stop doing that? Because it's not. It's not good. It doesn't look good. Could we stop it? And I say the same thing to you, Mike, in this movie with your stupid little haircut. It looks like shit. Please go cut it off. It's a movie that left me with a lot of questions. It leaves off on, you know, a cliffhanger. Like, I'm not sure where this story is going. It kind of just ends out of nowhere for me. If anything, I wanted this movie to keep on going because I just wanted some goddamn answers to something. But that's what horror movie sequels are for, of course, Caleb. That's how the business works. But I will say that I am entertained with the action set pieces that we're seeing in here. Some jump scares actually got me. Sometimes that tall man pops out of the window of Mike's house that, again, he's living in all by himself. And then other times there are Kubrick-esque shots of these long hallways, and then this tall man just out there in the background, just staring and watching. Mike turns around, or Jody turns around and sees them, and kind of just has a moment of just staring and sizing each other up before one starts running and then the other starts running after them. There's some pretty powerful imagery in here that is creepy, and it creeps me out, it scares me a little bit, but again, I think it's just undercut by this story and this script that is just very simple, and it's very one note, it's very one level. And I don't know if it was intended to be that way and to be flushed out in later films. But if I'm just going off of this one, like, it wasn't guaranteed that this film was going to be a franchise and have several sequels after the first one comes out. So if you're just releasing this with it up in the air of, oh, I don't know if we're going to continue the story, I don't know why you would at least tell a little bit of the story for this movie. It's just baffling to me. But like I said, I'm still entertained by the creepiness and the action set pieces that we get in here. A lot of the car chases are very impressive. It is nice because they have the benefit of shooting most of them at night, so they can get away with certain tricks, things here and there. But again, for the most part, I'm entertained. I'm confused and baffled, but I'm still entertained by the creepiness that I'm seeing on screen. I'm going to give Phantasm 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
So guys, if you've seen Phantasm, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell until the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.